What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Chewin the Rag. Oh, we are back. If you are an avid listener, you understand that we missed a week or two. I don't know. I don't really have any excuses. Just got busy. We're working on the house. I'll post progress pictures right here on the screen. You can see what we got done. It used to be a window. It used to be a window. Now it's just a piece of wood. We're going to. It's not the only window in the room before I'll leave. Fucking Chris McKay is gonna be in here. Like, actually, if you have a fire, fuck you, Chris. No offense, love you, but it's not the only window. It's not even the main window. It's just a window that kind of goes to like the back steps. It was kind of pointless window. So we got a window in the room still. What we're going to do with that is just kind of prime it. We caulked it a little bit. We're gonna add a little bit more, make sure it's ready for paint it, and then the goal is to just kind of have it look like a part of the wall. And then we'll probably just do a bookshelf in front of it, whatever. It's insulated. I'm not a handyman. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I am, but overall, did pretty good. Measured the plywood, couldn't cut it because this finger here, but wife cut it. I hung it up with her, and we got it figured out. So next up is just ripping up some staples and doing the floors and all this other nonsense. It's all coming together though. Still in this little temporary space. Still got the stuff hanging up. Everything's good. But yeah, between that and my son started T-ball, which is cool. I never did T-ball. Never really cared to do like organized sports in general. I was more of like the individual sports guy as I got older. MMA, I liked like wrestling and stuff like that. Nothing like team wise. I do now. I like playing flag. I like doing like pickup ball games and whatnot. But like school sports and whatnot, I was never big on it. It just wasn't for me. I don't know why. Because I always enjoyed playing sports, like pickup stuff, but not organized for like somebody like a coach and whatnot. But it's been cool. It's fun to watch him figure it out. You gotta aim for the ball, not the tee. His first game, he hit the tee a little bit. The second game, he kind of just didn't. It was good to see. Watching kids play t-ball is fucking insanity because they don't know what they're doing, really. We didn't do a practice. His coach didn't do a practice. They didn't do really anything organized like that. So it's just like the first time they're out there is the first time they're out there if they've never played before. And my son will be like, outfield, shortstop, whatever the hell it is. It's a small field, so it's kind of just outfield. And these kids are playing t-ball. They're not smacking the ball hard, and it rolls 5 feet in front of them. And you see my son from like outfield just sprint at this ball, and he's not even trying to get the ball. He just like, rolls adjacent to it. All the kids are like trampling each other for it. It's insane to see. Obviously, if you're not like a first year player, you might know a little bit, and you can kind of see those kids. They like hesitate to go, and then they go when they see everybody else doing it. Because realistically, you're taught to like, it's almost like a zone, I didn't fucking play baseball, but I feel like there's zones to it. If that's not your zone, you don't go for the ball. Kids don't understand that. They just see a fucking ball and they're just gone. My son, like, I swear, like game one, I didn't really see anybody doing it. And then he started doing it and then everybody did it. And I was like, I guess lead the charge. I don't know. Whatever. If you're going to do it. He's fucking like dancing in the outfield and shit. Another kid was just making like snow angels with no snow on the ground. But it's wild to see. My son's fast. I saw him the first time he hit the ball. His head's up. He's got his fucking helmet on. He's just sprinting to first. And he does this thing where he'll run to first, run to second, and run to third. Doesn't go home. So third was where his dugout. Was that what the fuck? What the fuck is it? Dugout? I don't watch baseball, but that's where his team was lined up. They didn't really have a dugout. It was just a fence. So he could go to third and then just walk to his team, take his helmet off. He's done. Like, dude, just go home. He didn't understand that you don't start at home first, second, third, and then you're done. You got to end up back at home. So I kind of talked to him about that. I'm trying to get him to understand the zone thing that I was talking about, where it's like, buddy, just let the ball come to you. But that's fucking in one ear and out the other right now. I think T-ball needs more coaches. I think you should just have like a volunteer coach on every fucking base and just like outfield and just kind of. I know at that point it's like, okay, we'll go do it. I will. What do you want me to do? I don't fucking know what I'm doing, but I'll do it. Hey, don't run. Sit still. And some dad's gonna, hey, don't talk. Just shut up. Do the fucking slam my cap bullshit. Take my hat off and just slam it on the ground. I'm kidding. His coach is actually super nice. He's a nice guy. You can tell he's like trying. It's just they're kids. They're not really there to. They're not going to be fucking professional athletes. But it is fun to watch, and they're all doing pretty good. Again, I think I talked about this though. I'm just hoping, he really likes it, and so far he does. But like, just likes the idea of sports because the more like I can get him going and get him into them, and that's like the less he has to focus on fucking off and doing other bullshit. Now, obviously, kids are kids, and as they grow up, they will. But if I can have him not fuck off as much as possible, that'd be great because I fucked off. My wife, I don't think she really fucked off. I think she did softball from the moment she picked up a bat. It was just all about softball until who the hell knows when. For me, it was not that. We'll leave it at that. It was not that though. And then I'm hoping this is the part that I talked about before. I'm hoping he likes t-ball and the idea of organized sports because then I can get him into like year-round stuff. Like jujitsu. It's not seasonal stuff like that. Obviously not like mixed martial arts. I don't need him out there fighting right now, but just introduce him to. He's going to the gym. He likes it. Get him like into gi. Get him into jujitsu. Have him be organized, and then that's an all year round thing. So while he's doing t-ball, while he's doing soccer, while he's doing flag, whatever the hell he ends up wanting to do, he still always will have jujitsu too, and that'll if he likes it. I'm not going to like force him into it, but if he's enjoying the idea of organized sports, constantly being active, constantly moving. I always enjoyed it. I know it sounds hypocritical when I just said I don't, but like I always enjoyed. I was never in the house from like middle school on, never home. I was always on a bike. I was always out. I was always playing sports, doing something. I just, for some reason, I tried football, and it just wasn't for me. I didn't really enjoy it. They had me at like tackle. I was a smaller kid, and this is all stuff I've talked about before. So if you're not new here, I apologize. But like the idea of they'll bounce you around to different positions as a kid, you're obviously not just gonna play fucking tackle. Didn't really register with me. So that's what that was. And also my grades sucked, especially math. My mom always she would be like, "Oh, he would to skip football practice. He would go say, "Oh, well, I have my math tutor." No, the school forces if you were failing a class, you couldn't play sports. So like instead of going to football practice, I would be inside with some fucking math person teaching me a squared plus fucking b squared equals fuck off squared, and all my friends and my teammates are running laps and doing cool fucking football bullshit. So like I was always like, oh, I didn't want to be in there. So you didn't even like math. I know, that's why I was there. Like I wasn't there to skip football practice. They put me in there to miss football practice as like hey, your grades aren't shit. What are you doing? And then I remember I didn't even get to play like I finally was eligible to play a game, whatever. And as we were in the locker room suiting up and everything, I couldn't find my there was like one pad for my pants. And they were like, "Oh, well, we can't line you up then." I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I couldn't even play in that game. And I was like, "I don't." Well, I was like, "Oh, you forgot it on purpose." I'm just a dipshit. All right, I don't know what to tell you. I don't like. You gotta check my bag fucking 15 times if it's something like that because I will forget it. It's just how I always was. Still to this day, if I set something down, I can't find it, which sucks because I don't like pockets. At work, dude, first thing I do is I take my keys, my wallet, my phone, everything, just put them down. I don't like having things in my pockets. I really don't. I always have my phone in my hand, wallet in my hand, shit's in my hand. My keys, if I have to have them on me, sound like a fucking janitor because I just have like the fob in my pocket and then like house keys and all like just the loose gym keys and everything else. They're just clanking away. And I'm like, I just don't want them in my pocket. I don't like having things in my pocket. I'd prefer to just have like a fucking backpack everywhere, which when I'm out with my wife and son, that's what we have. It's mostly because his food allergies, EpiPens, safe snacks for him, shit like that. But it's so much more convenient to just put the wallets in there, just have everything in there. And then it's a pain when you go to like a store or an event and they're like, no book bags. It's like, well, I need it because you guys serve fucking shit that he's allergic to. And if I got to stab him with an Epi, I got to stab him with a fucking Epi. I'm keeping the backpack on me. Most places are pretty good about that once you explain food allergies, but you do run into the assholes who are like, well, you got to do something else because that bag's too big. It's not a clear backpack, blah, blah, fucking blah. Is what it is, dude. We, last episode talked about UFC 300 and somebody like tried to get me with a gotcha. Let me see this. I'll post this shit here too. I posted a clip of me talking about the UFC 300 BMF fight, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's just a gimmicky belt. I like the matchup. I like Max Holloway. I like Justin Gaethje. I think that no matter what, they were going to give you a banger fight. I just thought that I still, even with Max winning and everything, we'll get into that. I still think that belt is corny. I think it's not necessary. I know a lot of people change their mind when Max won because the way he won, he's up on the cards. He points to the mat. 10 seconds left. Him and Gaethje are fucking swinging. 1 second left on the clock. He clips him, knocks Gaethje out, and everybody says, fuck the belt. They're just celebrating that knockout. It's one of the best knockouts we'll see. And they're like, oh, that's what a BMF is. And I'm like, but that's who Max Holloway is. That's not the first time he's pointed at the fucking ground and said, let's do it right here. You don't need that belt to create that moment. You know what I mean? Was it a little bit more special because BMF was attached to it? To some people, but not to me. And so one of the comments on my video, it was somebody trying to have a gotcha thing on me. It was somebody I was going back and forth with a little bit. And he said, so 2 weeks before the fight, or 3 weeks before the fight, actually, no, it was a couple days before the fight, sorry. He said, I don't think the belt changes a thing. It happens with or without it. I don't see the problem here. And I said, I don't disagree. I don't have an issue with those that like the belt. I just think it's a good and interesting fight that doesn't need a gimmick attached to it. And then he said, I don't see how that takes away from it. I said, well, it doesn't ruin the fight. It just makes it cornier. And then after the fucking fight, it's like he had this bookmarked in his head. He just goes, do you still feel like this fight was ruined or tainted? You can scroll up and see the comments. Fucking, not going to call you out by name. I really don't. I feel like we were saying the same thing, but you were arguing. You literally said, I don't like the belt either, but I don't see the big deal. And I said, I don't care if you like the belt. I don't like it. Like, we're saying the same exact fucking thing. What are we doing here? And this dude's like, well, do you still feel like it was ruined or tainted? And I said, I feel exactly how I felt before the fight. I knew it'd be a banger. It delivered. It didn't need a gimmick. That's it. I feel like I've said that in everything that I just read. This is all word for word. Everything that I just said literally can be summarized by that last part. It's a great fight. I didn't pick either guy to win. I said Max Holloway is very tough. I said his boxing is very good. And then I said Justin Gaethje's a tough ass. Why? Because Justin Gaethje's tough as shit. The guy, and he's a brawler. The dude likes to bang. He fucked up Max's leg pretty good. And Max made a good point. And I think it's just because he's a durable, tough guy. But he's like, people are asking me, how did you not switch stances? He's like, so what? You can kick my other leg and then I have no legs? I'd rather just fight on one fucking leg. And it's like, it makes sense to me. I understand like you want to switch stances because you can't put your weight down, but like, in the back of your head to be smart enough to be like, well, if I do that, because that's natural. I feel like the want to switch stances. I sprained my ankle in a kickboxing match and it didn't really hurt too bad, but I would feel it when you step and I'm like, shit. But I just feel like that natural, oh, I can't put weight on my front leg. Let me just put it to the back. So like to have that in the back of his head, it's such like a Max Holloway fight IQ. That's a testament to that. And that fight was really fun, a great fight. And I don't know what's next for Max. It looks like Ilya's next, but I already don't like him as a champ, so I'm really hoping Max gets it. He also has the option of the Dustin Charles winner, I think. Did I say Charles? Islam winner, I apologize. Which that's interesting too, right? Because I don't know what the plan was always going to be. I think 300 threw a wrench into things. Like Charles wins and Max wins, then what? Or Gaethje wins. I feel like Gaethje would have been next if he would have won, regardless if Charles won. But like if Gaethje lost and Charles won, was it always going to be like, well, Max just moved up. He's a featherweight. He should be able to just go challenge for 155, or is it like, well, Charles worked his way back up. He should be able to fight. And then what does Dustin do? Dustin did the company a solid by fighting BSD. So I feel like Max winning and Charles losing made things actually, I think I said it through a wrench. I think it actually made things easier because you can now repay Dustin, which they did. Islam's fighting Dustin for the belt in Jersey. They can now repay Dustin for hooking them up. He didn't have to accept an up and coming fight with an up and comer like BSD, right? But Max, Dustin, those guys are company guys. So they're always going to get, which is why right now Max has options. He brought up Connor, which is insane. Fucking guy. He's like, oh, well, me and Connor have history and he's fighting Chandler at 170. That's on the table. It's like, dude, no offense to you. I understand, like, you're probably trying to line your pockets and you think a Connor fight does that for you. Let's not do that right now. It's Connor, you're so above him right now and where you're at. And people might not like to hear that, but Max is he's just done so much more as a person than, yeah, sure, Connor's accomplishments with making this fucking sport more casual. And I hate most of the fans that are out right now and shit like that. But like, look at the way Max has handled himself as a champion contender and everything else. So I say take that off. Go fight Ilya, who's being a little bitch and try to make stipulations. No, here's my thing with that. I don't like to call these guys little bitches, but the way Ilya's talking, he's like, oh, well, you can only fight for the 45 belt if you also put your BMF belt up. And Max is like, holy shit, you're still talking about this? Fine, we'll do it. But that's not the point of this belt. He's like, BMFs don't have stipulations. We just go out and we do it. And Max has always been that guy, with or without that belt. So that's the thing what I mean, like little bitch Ilya. I just don't like this whole fucking, well, Max has to do this or we can just have the fight with Ortega. Ortega had a 3-year layoff in one fight that he just won. Let the dude do something else in the division at least one more time. Why are you going right for Ortega? It would be hilarious if he did and Ortega just wraps him up and gets the belt. But I think him and Max will be next. I think Ilya even said that. I don't want to sit here and talk about UFC the whole time. Did that last episode just talking about UFC 300, but we talked about the event prior. I thought it would be cool to talk about it a little bit now. And also segues into this next thing. So John Anik a few months ago got some heat because he said, like, I think he just said something bad about MMA fans, and I agreed with him 100%. I agreed with him. It's the worst fan base. And it fucking, like, something always comes up that reminds you why this fan base sucks. And it's because people like Colby. It's because people like Connor. It's because people like Strickland. These shitty guys say shitty things and bring in shitty fans. And it's guys who think like being a shithead is funny. And it's like, it's really, you're not being witty or anything. You're just being a fucking douchebag. And half the shit you're saying, you would never say to these guys, despite the fact that they're probably level-headed enough to not put you through a fucking wall. They could, and that makes you a little bitch. Just the idea that they could. So a quick break from this episode of Chewin' the Rag to talk to you about Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a jitter-free clean energy company. They carry shakers, they carry energy powder, they carry rehydration drinks, gym bags. That hat back there is actually from Dubby. I got a keyboard, like a mouse pad right here from Dubby. Great company, great quality. I'm somebody that, midday I want to grab an energy drink while I'm driving around. Before work, have my coffee. After work, before recording, for example, let's caffeinate somehow. Dubby negates that. I swear, I have one shaker of Dubby a day is all I need to keep going. And right now they're offering 20% off. That's 10% off more than what they used to. 20% off if you go to dubby.gg and use promo code Chewin at checkout. That's dubby.gg and use promo code CHEWIN at checkout. While you are out there browsing the web, taking a look around, be sure to go to chewintherag.com. We have new merch up, t-shirts, tank tops, hats. We got a bunch of like warm weather stuff out there. We've got a whole new different line of stuff from what we used to have. And also on that website, you can find the Discord. You can find all the social medias where you can find Chewin' the Rag, the email to ask questions. The Discord right now is a lot of fun. We're constantly in there just playing games. We've got the Ask the Pod tab where you can ask questions, interact with everybody. We're trying to get that going. So chewintherag.com for merch, social medias, and everything else regarding Chewin' the Rag. If you are enjoying the pod show, please be sure to like, rate, subscribe, and share on whatever platform you are listening on. Kind of helps just pick up the pace for us, the algorithm, all that fun, boring stuff that nobody wants to hear about. So if you're enjoying it, please be sure to do that. And thank you again for listening to Chewin' the Rag. So Francis Ngannou, his 18-month-old son, just passed away. I don't know what happened. Obviously, they're not leaking details. Like, it's an 18-month-old kid. Just mind your fucking business. And I'm not going to say the page, but there's like Twitter pages who make like shitty MMA jokes or just shitty jokes in general. They think they're funny. And he posted a picture of DC and Ngannou and quoted the news article and said like, who did it better? And the reason he said that, if you don't know, is Daniel Cormier back in the early 2000s, his 3-month-old daughter passed away in a car accident. And so like this person's idea of a joke was like, oh, who did it better regarding like, dead children. And it's like, what are we doing here? Are you fucking stupid? If DC texted Ngannou and said, hey, let's get this guy's IP address and go knock on his door, you would call the cops without even answering the fucking door. You would look through your blinds and call the police. So what are you doing? What are you fucking doing? At least when I talk shit about these guys, hey, Colby Covington, you're a scumbag. Sean Strickland, you're a scumbag. And that's something I'll say to them because I find you guys fucking to be kind of scumbags. I don't give a fuck. What are you going to do? Hit me? I'll hit you back. What? You going to beat me? Probably. John Parker did. That's not that impressive, but still, I'm going to call you a piece of shit if you're a piece of shit. To like, equate that type of fan who's just like, hey, I think you guys say stupid shit, kind of think you're scumbags. I think the fan like me got offended by John Anik, even though I didn't, because they were like, we're not all like that. It's like, well, if you're not, then shut the fuck up. You know who he's talking about. He's talking about these people who talk about like DC and Ngannou in this way. Or Cheeto Vera, I believe it's Cheeto. He has a daughter with like a disability, and they were like, oh, his daughter outlasted your son. How is that the joke you make here? It doesn't make any sense. You can make dark jokes, but like these aren't even, it's not funny. You have to be funny when you do that shit. And that it's just not. And I'm glad, not glad that these people exist, but I'm glad this happened. Not this. I'm glad these accounts popped their head up because it just makes what John Anik said make sense. Like these are obviously the fucking people he's talking about. I had to word that properly. Jesus Christ, almost backed myself into a fucking corner. After like, shitting on these people, I almost said that in a way that sounded like I was one of them. I'm not glad any of that fucking shit happened. I'm just, you guys got to see what the fuck John Anik's talking about. He's probably like the best commentator of all time. He's so fucking good at his job as far as like, UFC goes, right? He's better than Goldie, better than fucking Rogan. He's better than DC. He's better than Bisping. All those guys. Like John Anik's just so fucking smart. And even he has like slip ups where you're like, Anik, what the fuck is that? There's two guys fighting. Like, both of these guys are going through a custody battle with their wives, and we're on. Why the fuck did you bring that up, Anik? But like he's just giving you facts about the guys and whatnot, and it is what it is. Sometimes you just go a little too far with your facts, but he's so fucking good at calling a fight. He has the best call of all time with the Leon Edwards head kick. Like the dude's great, and for him to come out and call you a shitty person, you're probably a shitty person, and MMA fans are shitty people. We got some questions. We got a question. Looking forward to that. Absoki put up a video on his YouTube. If you go to YouTube, he's streaming there now. Just shouting him out. He's super like, supportive of the pod. Every time he's on a stream, I'll pop in. He promotes the pod. He was on the pod. Listen to his episode. It's really good. Just a nice, sweet Kentucky boy. And he's kind of going into making YouTube videos, not just streaming. And he made a really, really cool, well put together video on like video game prices and microtransactions and the way those are. And I'm not really articulating it well, but he did a really good job with it. It was his first real, not full, but long length. I don't even know how you would say it, but just like his first like long video, you know. And he was a little self-conscious about it. He reached out to me, and I was like, yeah, do it. I think it's a great idea. He has some questions, and he did a good job with that. I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. Go check that out. It's hard. It's not like you can hear me going, moving my hand. Like I'm trying to jog my own my brain's working faster than my mouth. I'm trying to put it all together. And it is tough. I sit here and I talk to a fucking camera by myself for anywhere between 35, 45, maybe an hour, depending on if we got a lot of shit to break down. And it's not easy. So for him to go out there, first time, edit this, put it together, I was like, yeah, dude, it's good. He was like, are you sure? You just say that? Like, no, it's good. It's good. I promise. It's good. So check that out. And let's get to this question before we end it. We got a Freaky Friday scenario. Actually, fuck it. We're not ending after this because I want to talk some NFL bullshit. No, I don't know. Let's see what the fuck happens. Freaky Friday scenario. Who would you switch places with for a day, just one day, and why? So here's where it's tough, right? Because what's the legality of what I could do in this person's body? Now, I don't want to go like kill somebody. I don't want to do any like hard crime to another individual. A couple guys I have in mind, but just one guy. One guy I have in mind, but I wouldn't do it. But if I'm in this person's body and they're in my body, could I potentially take some money from their account? We'll say Bezos. We'll say a little heifer Bezos. We'll say fucking Bezos is Pesos. Maybe I take a cool, I don't know, what's $100 to him? 500,000. Maybe take a 500,000. Here's what I'd do if I could switch bodies with one person for one day. Take Jeff Bezos. I think I'd take 500,000 cash from the bank. I don't even know if you can do that. I never had to withdraw 500,000 before. 500,000, and I would direct deposit it into my account, Christopher, and that way, 24 hours from now, I go to my account. I got a cool 500K. 500K for him ain't shit. 500K for me, I can get a lot of shit done with that. So, depending on legality, I do that. Otherwise, I'm going to save my Freaky Friday and I'm going to save it for the NFL season and I'm going to use it Sunday night game, CeeDee Lamb. And I'm going to be CeeDee Lamb for a day because I'll have CeeDee Lamb body, my brain. And that motherfucker can sit on the couch and watch me drop a motherfucking pass. CeeDee, you're pissing me off. All right? You could watch an easy ball from Dak hit you in the numbers. It may be a playoff game, perhaps. Maybe it's the Green Bay game, and you just drop it. You know? Maybe you could watch that and you can go, how the fuck does he drop that? Because I wonder the same shit about you sometimes. But no, I don't know. Just like an Aaron Jones, just a running back. I want get like that feel for in game. Anthony Edwards, I want his abilities just for once, you know? That dude's a fucking freak. That might be my answer right there, Anthony Edwards. Because, I don't need I just want to feel what it's like to get up there and fucking dunk a ball or something. I don't know. I'm never going to be able to do that. Depending on legality, Jeff Bezos, 500K, my pocket. If that's not allowed, a professional athlete or maybe even like a UFC guy. Because I have like the brain to know how to throw a punch and whatnot. But like, I want to do it in somebody else's body. I want to do it in like a Dustin Poirier or whatever. Now, obviously, my IQ is not Dustin Poirier's IQ. He's not going to look as good, but it'd be fun to like just hear, because I've heard it at a very low level. The crowd when a big slam happens, a trip happens, a shot lands, you're getting ground and pounded. I've heard that at a low level, but win or lose, to hear like an MSG or the fucking Las Vegas shit, to hear that's probably insane. So legality, Jeff Bezos and his money. Not legal, just any athlete that I don't like, but they're in a sport that I like. That way they don't get a loss on their record or their stats don't get altered. Then I would do that. But yeah, I think that's a move. I'm not gonna get in the draft talk. The draft, all I'm gonna say about the draft is there's one guy specifically that I've talked to. I'm not gonna say who. I'm trying to reach out to him and his agent, and he told me where I need to go to get in contact with him to try to get him on here. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Every time I tease somebody, it falls through, so I ain't teasing no more. I'm just saying there's a certain person that I'm trying to get on here, and that's final. This was fun. It was fun to get back into it. It's always tough, It's always tough the first time I sit down. It takes me a few minutes to get going, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I feel like there was something else, and I know I'm gonna be like, son of a bitch, once I get done, because I don't remember what it was. But I don't know. That's all I got. Thank you guys for listening to this episode, and I will see you hopefully next week.